Hey everybody, welcome to the Truck Spa. My name is Rob. Today we're going to talk about foam cannons, why we've used these, and why we use the one we're using now. So stick around, we're going to talk more.
LargeCar Truck Spa, the difference between washed and clean.
You know, when we started, we thought that in order to give the best performance with a good product, that we would need a high dollar cannon. So we started with this one. It's the FP22. We were surprised actually by its performance. It's a little heavier. It's got a really big nozzle. Everything is pretty big, heavy duty. The biggest factor that we didn't like about it is the price. It's actually 3 times more expensive than any other cannons on the market. It is a high dollar cannon, like I said, comes from Italy, European quality. One of the few things that we noticed that we didn't like about it, besides the weight to start, was the filling. I'll just take the head off and show you. This cannon has just a small neck, so a funnel is needed. It becomes a little, awkward. You need a funnel to fill it up, that kind of thing. These threads did not last very long. It seemed that the bottle is a little weak. It's a mild plastic, but didn't take long before we started to see the threads start to strip. So that became a problem. For what it was worth, and for as long as we had it, it didn't take long before we started to see problems with our foam. The most important thing inside the foam cannon is your little foamer. It's that little small bundle of wire, and that's what gives you your foam when you mix your soap and your water and your foam. So definitely a bad feature on this one. It sure didn't take a long time before we started seeing the bad foam quality, really gummed up, plugged up. So we decided to switch to option number 2. We went over to this cannon, brought to us by a local supplier. Right there, I just wanted to show you, there's one of the biggest cons in this cannon. With its tall, narrow profile, it was really unstable. It didn't want to stand very well. It became really top heavy, so that became an issue. When they tip over, they'll start to leak out and just become very cumbersome. Same thing again with this cannon, we tried it out. You'll notice the top mouth, very similar to the FP22. It's got a really narrow neck, so a funnel is needed. Same size volume, but really awkward, top heavy. The other thing we didn't like about this cannon is it only had one-way feature. The spray nozzle is vertical, not horizontal, no way to adjust it, so definitely didn't take long before we decided to try something else. So we moved on to this foam cannon. So far it's been so good. This is actually the cannon we're using now. This is the cannon we sell on our website, and I'm going to tell you why here for a few reasons. The first off, it's got a wide base like the FP22, so it's much more stable. But one thing we really like about this cannon, the wide mouth. Really makes it easy to fill, no funnel needed, 1 liter volume, so all the same, but much easier to fill without the cannon. Also, much more durable product, much bigger threads, much stronger, less chance of that head falling off. You know, if you bump it, if you're moving that cannon around on the end of your foam lance, we didn't have that problem like we did with these two. The other thing we really like about this cannon, it has one of the features that's similar to the FP22 in that it's got its dual control. You've got 2 ways to function and to adjust your spray. You can adjust the black by turning the nozzle head, and that switches from a vertical to a horizontal spray. And then also, like the other two, you adjust the front nozzle and you're able to change the pitch of your foam spray from a really wide to a really narrow. And as you get comfortable with your foam cannon, you use it more, you're going to see that being in control or having access to the cannon at the end and being able to move this while you're spraying can become a real advantage in optimizing your foam and the amount of soap you're using for the wash. If you're getting a wide coverage, like the side of a panel, you can spray it, you can adjust it and make it nice and wide. Now you're going to be coming back. Let's say you want to spray the exhaust stack. You just need a narrow stream of soap. Well, now you're able to turn the end knob and really adjust that spray, dial it down, fine tune it, and really concentrate that soap where it's needed on those fine edges and those fine places where a wide spray would just waste, where you want the soap to be concentrated. These foam cannons are ordered specifically with a brass body. They've got a 1.1 millimeter choke inside so that they're Probably the best range for pressure washers that start at around 1 gallon a minute, all the way up to about that 4.5, 5 gallons a minute. So they're really versatile for the average pressure washer that anybody has at home. The other nice feature, the one thing that I've ordered and requested, is the stainless steel coupler. It's a 1/4 inch coupler, and that fits on to basically just about any lance, any wash gun. The majority of you guys have got a lance on a wash gun. You'll have a tip like this with this type of wash nozzle. All you do is take the nozzle off and apply the foam cannon. Now you're ready to go. The stainless steel ensures that there's no corrosion, there's no wearing down, there's no contaminants from rust or corrosion inside the nozzle. If you get a cheap foam cannon and it's got a carbon steel tip on it, eventually you're going to see rust and corrosion on the inside, and that is going to get flushed through the system and into that filter in the end, and that's going to create nothing but problems for you. You definitely want to focus on keeping your cannon clean. Once you're done with a wash, you want to make sure that you use the soap as much as you can. If you've got a little bit left, I encourage you just to finish it off on the truck. When you're almost done, hold it off to the side until there's just clean water coming out. That ensures that you flush the valve body, flush the entire body of the cannon so that there's no soap residue, no grime, no buildup of soap inside the body, especially in the tip where we've got this little cluster of wire that gives us that foam quality. If that starts to build up with excess soap residue, that'll really affect the foam quality. So 3 things now we've talked about that give us that advantage. It's the most durable, it's the most longest lasting cannon we've got. It's the reason why we sell these on our website. One of the other features, let's talk about real quick. Everybody asks about the knob on the top. Everybody's got a different name for it, a bypass valve or a dosing valve. The actual reason why these foam cannons have this dial on top, this knob, is if you're in a situation where if you're putting the soap in the cannon in a full concentrate, we recommend that the soap is pre-mixed for a couple reasons. Number one, that ensures that you're getting the best wash. You're not using more product than what you need. If you're giving it a wash and you're using more product than what you need, obviously you're wasting money because you're concentrating the soap stronger than what it needs to be. Filling the soap with straight concentrate and trying to, dial open this valve here by, controlling your ratio becomes very difficult. One, because it can be a 1/4 of a turn or an 1/8 of a turn, and that can really, really swing your ratio out of play. You could think you're giving it only, an 80-to-1 ratio, but you could be down to a 40-to-1. And with too much water dilution, you've just got soapy water, the soap you're applying isn't gonna do its job. We recommend just keeping it closed and then filling the cannon with your concentrate, adding your 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 recommended ratio, starting probably at about a 4-to-1, and then if you're finding that the soap doesn't work for you, make it stronger. It's better to start with a milder soap concentration and then working your way a little bit stronger rather than being too strong. First of all, like we said earlier, you're gonna be using more soap than what you need. It's gonna be too strong. So start light and then work your way up. But going back to what I said earlier, pre-measure your soap, add your water, close the valve on top, then you'll know, you're guaranteed that you'll be running the soap with the correct mixture. With that 1.1 millimeter choke in there, you're gonna be putting just the correct amount of water to run by and pull the soap so that your water runs by. It pulls actually like a pitot tube. It'll draw the soap up the suction line. Let me just show you. So we've got the suction line, and it actually pulls through the filter. Your soap concentration pulls it up into the wash stream, and when the soap hits the truck, you're looking at a ratio of about 80-to-1. The best way to explain that is you're cutting the soap twice. We mix it in a 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 in the cannon, and then when we put the pump on, when we put the wash gun on, like we showed you before, and you start washing, you're injecting water into that stream with the soap, and that's what cuts it again, another 20-to-1. With that 20-to-1 with the 4-to-1 gives you about that 100-to-1 when you put the soap onto the truck. So very, very important. You want to make sure that these are maintained, cleaned, like we talked about earlier. When you're done with the cannon, flush it out, get that soap residue out of the head, flush the water through it, rinse it out, take it over to a sink or run it through some water. Same with your cannon, your kettle, you want to rinse it out, clean it up, put it away, and that'll be the best way to ensure that your cannon's working as long as you can get it to work. If you do find that you know, your soap concentration is strong enough, you're still seeing problems, not getting that nice heavy foam that you're supposed to be, if you've seen before, that's a sign that we've got probably some soap buildup, some residue, that tip is getting dirty. One of the things I like to do, of what I've learned, is just take a small pail, an ice cream pail, put some water in it and a couple of ounces of vinegar. That acid in the vinegar, just let it soak for a bit, for a couple hours, and that'll really break down the grime, the soap residue that's left behind, and really clean out the ports for a nice clean cannon and that high quality foam again. So very important again, guys, using a good soap, but it's important to use a good cannon. This is our choice. This is what we like to use. And like I said, it's practical. It doesn't need a funnel like these other two do. It's stable. It's balanced. It's got the same features as the FP22, but a third of the cost. You can get 3 of these for the cost of one of these. So to me, it just makes sense. We've got value. We've got good price. With longevity. They're practical. And for here at the Truck Spa, they work for the best. So it's your feedback, guys. It's given us a chance to try different products, see what works. We've done the homework for you guys. We know what works and what doesn't. This is our recommendation here, and this is why we have it on the website. So I appreciate you guys sticking around, watching the video today. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and stick around. We've got a lot more to show you here at the spa. Thanks very much.
LargeCar Truck Spa, the difference between washed and clean.